Hey guys, it's Josh with J Bauer Art. This is Back Talk with Bauer, and we will get to the reviewing some stuff. We'll keep it clean for the moment. Episode of the show. But first, let's talk about the amazing sponsors, the awesome folks over at Kingdom of Comics. They are a sponsor of my show, Back Talk with Bauer, and they are located on 4320 South Babcock Street in Melbourne, Florida. You can find them at facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics Shop. Make sure to put 2 S's in there because if you don't spell it right, you can't find them. And they're an amazing comic shop. It's really awesome. They have tons of stuff there, like new comics. They're an authorized CGC dealer, toys, graphic novels, rare collectibles, pop, statues, back issues, and so much more. Make sure to head over there on Fridays. You can find half off any beer with a purchase of a trade paperback or graphic novel. They also have drinks to go deals. Make sure to check out the DC Future State short. It's a short DC run of new characters like Batman, Wonder Woman, but done in the future. It's going on now until the end of February. And make sure to check out the King in Black series. It's a Marvel series of the God of the Symbiotes invading Earth, and that is ongoing right now. And then I don't know if they still have. You guys probably saw them last week or the week before. The little statues of the previews exclusive statues of Stan Lee figurines for $35. If you tell them that you heard about the little Stan Lee figurines from Back Talk with Bauer, this show, you can get 10% off of your purchase. So if you are in the Florida area, either in the Melbourne area, Central Florida, head on over to the comic shop itself. It's really cool, really fabulous. I love going there. It's like going to you feel like you're going into a home when you go and hang out in there. Very comfortable. Jason and Paul, the owners, are spectacular, and I love them. And then if you are not in the state of Florida and can't make it over there, just head over to facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics Shop and let them know that you're trying to order something. They'll find whatever you were looking for and will take care of you. So make sure if you are new to them, let them know that you heard them on Back Talk with Bauer. Support my friends, support the people that support this show, and let's get this mess on the road. That music means it's time for another episode of Back Talk with Bauer. I am Josh of J Bauer Art. Let me say hi to a few people that are watching live on Facebook at facebook.com/J Bauer Art. We got Bryant Oliver. Hello, sir. GW over at Hanging with Web Show. Brian Winslow from Heels and Reels. I have a list over there, but I can't see it. Count Nunez is popping in. Thank you, sir. Hello. I'm going to go with your first name, Jim, because I ain't going to try to say your last name because I don't know how to read very well, as you guys will find out in my next sponsorship read here in just a minute. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am already happy with, I am currently live on my original page, my personal page, the J Bauer Art page, and the Hanging with Web Show page, and the numbers are actually higher than last week. So yay me. Twitch maybe toss that aside for the moment because I can't afford the full StreamYard package. But if you want to help me afford that, head over to jbauerart.com and let me know that you are interested in sponsoring the show, and we can get something set up. But before I plug myself anymore, I need to plug the awesome folks at Inked Marketing. Inked Marketing and Back Talk with Bauer have teamed up, and they are sponsoring the episodes right now. And they're an amazing. I just totally blanked on words. Let me try that again. Inked Marketing is a fantastic company that helps Kickstarters and fundraising things get a bigger audience. You can grow your Kickstarter audience with Inked Marketing. Head over to www.inked.marketing and you can check out all the awesomeness. And you can be, if you're doing a Kickstarter for like comic books or artwork or things to that nature, please head over to them and let them know that Back Talk with Bauer sent you, and you can be one of the live reads like Voyage the Call. Come check out a mini horror sci-fi comic following the adventures of Sonderon, an intergalactic space explorer. Due to sleep deprivation, Sonderon has taken every opportunity to stay awake. The constant nightmares have driven him to the point of madness where he has no choice but to succumb and follow the calling in hopes to end the madness. Search Voyage the Calling on Kickstarter today. So yeah, please check out that Kickstarter, and please check out Inked Marketing, a proud sponsor of Back Talk with Bauer. Whew. Hey, Lewis, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes, Twitch has plenty of resources, and I want to use it more, and I have been using it a little bit for the show. But with the current, so for those that don't know, I use StreamYard. It's the StreamYard streaming service that lets me stream this show to a variety of different things. You can stream it to Facebook channels. You can send it to YouTube, Twitch, Periscope if it's still a thing. I'm not even sure. But one of the problems is they have different sale points. So you can get in for free. You can send it. You can't do any of the custom stuff. The free one's very limited. And I think you can stream it onto one platform at one page. The current one I have, you can do up to 3. So if I'm doing it on my personal page, my Facebook page, and the HWWS WebTV page, I don't have enough to send it to Twitch. So if I can get another sponsor or get some things moving so I make some more money and can cover that, I will be happy to go back onto Twitch. But I noticed when I wasn't on the personal page, I wasn't getting a lot of people on here watching live. And I want the live numbers to be good, so I feel like I'm actually talking to somebody. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. But yeah, thank you guys for all popping in. I greatly appreciate it. Brian, thank you for tagging people, and hopefully they will be checking out the show. If you have never seen the show, if you have no idea what in the fuck is going on here, I am Josh of J Bauer Artist. J Bauer Art. I am an artist. I am a graphic designer, and I'm also a podcast host. If you see all this stuff behind me, pretty much everything you see behind me is my artwork. These are all canvas paintings that are actually for sale. So if you're interested in those or any of my artwork, or getting some graphic design work, or wanting to maybe be on the show, be a guest, be a featured person on it, or want to advertise with my show, head over to jbauerart.com. You can find everything. There's a contact page, or message me on any social media, and I'll get you squared away. And one more quick shout out to Kingdom of Comics. Oh, actually, if you go to Back Talk with, or you go to the jbauerart.com, hit the merch tab, you can find this awesome shirt. Is the first official Back Talk with Bauer t-shirt. It's a fun little thing that I've got little hidden stuff in there. I created it all myself, and you can get it through my Threadless account, so please check that out. And then a quick shout out for Kingdom of Comics. I'm actually heading there this Saturday to put some artwork up on the walls. Jason was so kind to allow me to put a few pieces up there, hopefully sell them out on there. If you own a local business in the Central Florida area or beyond, I will come to you. I don't care. But if you're in the Florida area and I can drive to you, and you have some wall space that you would be so kind to put up, display my artwork and possibly sell it, I would love to chat with you. I have tons of paintings, even more than this behind me. I have tons of paintings sitting in another room that are just sitting and collecting dust. I'm not doing events much because there's not many events to do. And I would love to get into some new places where the art can display, make your walls pretty, and hopefully sell a few. Even if not, we'll get my card up there, get some info up there, and maybe people will contact me for other things. So if you are a Central Florida person, let me know, and I'd love to work with you. So this episode, I do not have a guest. It is just me tonight. I am actually going to be on another show here a little bit later tonight. I'm going to be on All the Small Things podcast at 8 p.m. or right around 8 p.m. Eastern. So I wanted to do an episode just by myself, and I wanted to review some shit. I have been watching a plethora of things. I've picked 4 and a bonus 5th one, if we have time, of different things to chat about, to review, just things that I have watched. It's 2 movies, 2 shows, and then maybe a bonus movie if we have time. We may be able to touch on it a little bit, but we will see. But yeah, I'm a big nerd. I'm a big, as you can see by the variety of things I have behind me. So mostly it's going to be quite a few comic book stuff, but there's some other stuff, pop culture things that have popped in there here and there. I would love you guys, like just Brian Winslow just put in there. He says WandaVision is brilliant. We will be getting to that one soon. But yeah, there's tons to talk about. And the first one I want to get into is Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai season 3. I binge watched that like crazy. And that's going to be the cool thing is we can look into binge watching a show and then going back to the old school ways of, once a week episodic shows like WandaVision. So Cobra Kai, for those that don't know, it is based off the, excuse me, it is based off the, 1980s, 1990s movie, The Karate Kid, the first and second one. And it is now on season 3 of Cobra Kai, and it's on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and late last year, since it hopped over to Netflix, I was able to check out the first 2 seasons. I absolutely love them. This has been my new favorite show, new favorite obsession, and as soon as I finished season 3, I was dying for, or season 2, I was dying for season 3, and was so happy that they announced that it was going to come out in January. I got in like the perfect time, and I only had to wait a month for the new season. So yeah, it's spectacular. We've got 1984. Thank you, Brian. Man, it's an older movie. I always thought, because I watched all of them, and I thought it was more closer to the later 90s or later 80s, because I actually watched them, but I guess I watched a variety of things growing up. But Brian Oliver agrees Cobra Kai season 3 was crazy, and all the seasons are amazing. Very true. Very true. Now, I love the storyline in season 3. It's been very cool. It was very cool, very interesting to see how they really, and this is going to be spoilers for everything. So if you have not watched something, or, you can either skip it if you're listening to the audio version, or if you're watching live, mute me. And when you see the picture change, we've gone on to new things. But yeah, this is going to be spoiler fest. So I really loved how in Cobra Kai season 3, they really got into the 2 sides of the story. And it's always been told the 2 sides of the story. That's what Cobra Kai has been, is, the movies were from Danny's side. You got, the view of this Danny, the hero, and he was spectacular and amazing. And he beat the bad guy, Johnny, and got the girl, and blah, 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 blah. And in Cobra Kai, you get to see the other side of that. And people have argued it for years that Danny did an illegal kick at the end. Johnny was this way because of this and that. And everybody speculated different things that went on behind the scenes. But Cobra Kai has actually deep dived into all that, has gone into past things of both guys, and has really made it look like Johnny isn't as bad as he is. He was bad because of the people who raised him and around all that stuff. No problem, Jim. Thanks for popping in. Have a good one. But yeah, it's, and I may spoil stuff. I may not. I'm just not watching. Yeah, I'm reviewing some stuff. This stuff's been around for a while. So, you got to do what you got to do. But hopefully Jim, subscribes to the show later. Kreese used to be a good guy. Who would have thought? Yeah, that was the other very interesting thing is that you get to see in season 3, you get to see Kreese, the Johnny's sensei, his point of view as well, and why he has become such the bad guy that he is. Now, he's still a giant prick, but you kind of see why he's such a giant prick, and it's very fascinating, and you get to see why Danny's so hardcore as he is. Johnny has done certain things, and you get into, and they really nail it in, especially towards the last few episodes of the season, that Johnny has his side of the story and his view, and Danny has his side of the story and his view. And you get 2 different sides of a story, and in between the 2 sides of the story, you get the truth. Now, and there's been things proven that people will remember stuff the way they remember it. They do not, they could honestly think it's the absolute truth, but they saw it through their point of view or their memory or this or that, and things cue things left and right. So honestly, you could go and remake Karate Kid and it could be all the point of Johnny's view, and it's a totally different story. And that's what Cobra Kai has done. They have really pointed out the differences in between the two characters, that, you know, Johnny can be a bit of a good guy, and Danny can actually be a kind of a dick, especially in that first season. Danny was kind of full of himself. He was, you know, he thought he was the good guy, the savior. He used the karate to sell the cars and all that stuff. And he's kind of a douche in the first season. And it's very interesting. The characters have changed a bit. I will say it's very funny that the cops are very rarely called in this fucking show through all 3 seasons. The only time the cops really get and anything legal comes into play is the end of season 2 when the big school fight happens. That is the most cops have come, and they didn't even come into that. They barely. The only reason it stops is because they almost kill. It's Miguel, right? The one character. So, you know, and he falls off the thing and almost dies, and gets his back broken. That is the only time anything like legal has come in. You get into the new season, people have been expelled and things like that. So that's always really funny that there's just so many fighting things going on, and nobody calls the cops. Nobody really breaks it up, anything like that. But yeah, I definitely really, God damn it. I really enjoyed this season. A lot of people have said that is they only use season 3 to build up season 4. I'm like, first off, that is the point of any show. You are always building to make sure you give good amount away and things happen and the story moves along, but you want people to be ready for that next season. You really want to have a next season. And season 3 was, if you're one of those people that are mad, oh, it's just a build up to season 4. You got to look at it as this was a point where everything got broken for everybody. Everything got taken away from Johnny. Everything got taken away from Danny. And you had to rebuild, and they had to come together as a unit to be able to go against the new Cobra Kai. And that Danny and Johnny had to drop all the shit from the past, let it go, and finally learn to work together so they could save the town with karate. Sometimes it's funny. You really can't think of this show. You have to. There's still a good sense of, and I love it. It's just 80s, 90s action stuff. The sense of reality is not fully there. So it's really nice to, you know, kind of break away. But yeah, basically karate's going to save the soul of the town. I do love that Danny's wife kind of points that out. She goes, what do you think you guys are two just like offbeat detectives trying to save the small town or some crap? So I got a good chuckle out of that one. That was fantastic. But if you have not seen Cobra Kai, if you have not gotten into it yet, I really suggest you should check it out. It's fantastic. Even if you're not like, cause I liked Karate Kid, but it wasn't my favorite movie. Number one, because I am more of a, when I was growing up, I was taught Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do and kind of those styles. And karate is a whole different other style. And the people that were teaching me kind of looked down on karate. So like Karate Kid was never my main thing. I think it was also a little bit before my time. Like I watched it, but never got into it hardcore. But I watched all of them. I enjoyed them. But Cobra Kai, you can get into Cobra Kai and love it without really knowing. You could get into Cobra Kai and never watch the movies because they do such a good job of showing things that went down in the first 2 movies and kind of explaining why certain things happen. So as somebody that has never seen the movies can enjoy this show. I think they do a fantastic job at that. And I also really like that they brought in some more stuff from the second movie. I greatly love that. And it's nice to see more of the second movie be involved in this third season. Yes, the music is on point, Brian. It's fantastic. I love it a lot. What else you got? I have heard that the certain Academy Award-winning actress will be in season 4. Very cool. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with this next season. I'm hoping that they can make it relatively quickly and it can be a thing. So I gotta hit this button real quick. So let me get into the next one real quick. Here we go. I'm not on my normal time, so I got to make sure I go onto my break when I'm supposed to. But next up is Wonder Woman 1984. Whew. This is going to be the one that I shit on. I was very excited for Wonder Woman 1984. I love the first one. I will say I have not been the biggest fan of the DC films. The DC universe, the DC movies have not impressed me much. It has been a mess, a cluster. Even the really good movies like Aquaman and Wonder Woman they're good, but they're good for DC movies. I think Wonder Woman's the best out of all of them. I love Aquaman, but there's just some stuff in there that, I don't know, just didn't resonate with me fully. It's a fun movie to watch, but I don't know, just missing something. I would not even say Wonder Woman 84 was great. I wouldn't. I don't know if it's terrible. I don't know what it is. I think they missed the mark. I listen to several different podcasts that break down movies and things like that. And it is Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith's podcast. Him and Mark Bernardin chat about movies like this. And they broke down Wonder Woman. And Mark Bernard, I can't remember how it is, but Mark basically laid, because he's a writer, so he laid out how he would have done Wonder Woman 1984, and his version was much better and made more sense and was better put together. There was a lot of dumb plot holes through this movie. There's a lot of stupid stuff that just does not make sense. The wishing rock doesn't always play right for everybody, and doesn't. I think certain people missed like the rules that were put into play. Rules for this person aren't the same rules for this person. I really think, and they made it. I don't know if they were trying to do a tribute to the old Superman films or take, try to go back to that nostalgia feel. But like the mall scene drives me insane. I did not get that. I did not. It was just too cheesy and very old school feeling and very goofy. And to try to do a serious movie after this, the mall stuff was just, there was a little too comedy stuff. And you've got freaking Wonder Woman, very strong, has gone up against gods, has gone up against badass folks. And she goes against, what is it? 4 gunmen, 4 people robbing a crooked jewelry store. And it takes her 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and she'll go and hit one and then go to another one. And the one she hit before gets back up. I don't get that. Like, she should have been able to take all of them out in a minute and not broken a sweat. And the goofy stuff with winking to the kid and doing stuff here and there. So like right at the beginning, and I tried to give it an open mind. I tried to be really open-minded, but it just was very weird. The plot kind of jumped around a bit, and then you've got the really weirdness with her boyfriend coming back and his body taking the soul, or his soul taking over the body of some random dude, and they had sex, and so she basically had sex with a person without consent. That's pretty freaking weird. And I think they wasted. The Cheetah character was awesome. Her build up, the transformation, the build up of the Cheetah character was fantastic all through the movie. I'll give them that. I loved how she went. Now they did do the normal nerd ditches her glasses and becomes a badass from like pretty much any comic book movie. I wish they could get away from that stereotypical thing. I don't know why they can't, but the build-up was pretty cool. It was cool how she started turning bit more and more and freaking out a bit more and more and becoming more and more of a badass. But when she finally transformed, I didn't understand why she was allowed to have another wish. I didn't understand that. As far as I remember, you were only supposed to get one, and she already made her wish to become like Diana. So then she got to wish again. I didn't understand that. And then, like, if you really look into, like, cheetahs are not the top predator. I've heard this on some other podcasts. Like cheetahs aren't at the top of the food chain of predators. They're kind of lower a bit. And then like the fight at the end with those two, I don't know, just it was goofy. And like, so she's wearing, you got Wonder Woman in this badass armor that was supposed to hold past hundreds and thousands of whatever those freaking warriors were in the past. So Diana puts it on and she goes and covers herself, and you got one animal chick that can rip it apart. And she was ripping it apart pretty easy. Now, granted, she had quite a bit of powers, but you would think they would equal out to 1,000 normal dudes, maybe. So yeah, I was not a fan of that. I believe it would have been a better movie if the main bad guy wasn't I don't even remember the guy's name. But the main bad, if Cheetah and the main bad guy were switched roles, and the oil guy was the secondary bad guy, and then Cheetah was the main one, I think that would have been better. I do give him a little bit of credit of not ending a superhero movie with a giant epic battle, but I think they missed something. I kind of was just sitting there and going, she's straight up just gonna somehow talk him into reversing the Maxwell Lord. Thank you. She basically talked Maxwell Lord to defeat, and part of it was kind of cool, but then all of a sudden he wants to be a great dad, and I don't know, it just, the story through it all was just not, it didn't flow right, and it didn't. I got done and went, okay, there was that. Like, it wasn't the worst movie ever, and at least they tried a different ending and tried to twist some things in, and there wasn't like a giant light beam that's been in most Marvel and DC movies, or big army. But it just, I don't know. It definitely did not live up to the first one. And sequels are hard to. Some do it great. Some, most of the time, it's not great. But yeah, they really missed something in the sequel. And I really think it would have been cool, and especially for movie standards, for film industry, if you had two leading females and the two leading females were the top fight at the end and they were the main characters. Like, even the buildup of Cheetah, you get little clips of it, but you're more focused on Maxwell Lord. I think it would have been more fun and a better movie if you got more of Cheetah's buildup and everything like that. And yeah, I did not like the movie. I was not a fan of it. And I wish they could have done something more, something better. I'm interested to see what they perform for Wonder Woman 3. Cheetah, Brian says Cheetah's coming back. Bank on it. If they do, cool. Hopefully she's a bigger bad guy. Hopefully she's more of a, she's not a throwaway character in the third one. That's part of what I worry about, is that she could be a throwaway character. Almost like they did with, now this was a different set of movies, but with Scarecrow in the second Batman film, or whenever he popped in, he kind of popped in. It was a cool little call out, but he was just there and then gone. I see that maybe them doing that with Cheetah or something. And then the other thing that annoyed me about Wonder Woman 1984 was they were too focused on making it 1984. And I think that kind of got in the way of the storylines. And then a couple of podcasts pointed out it didn't really need to be in 1984. This could have happened at any time. It could have been 90s, 70s. It could have been at any time. I think they went with 84 because they saw what Stranger Things was doing and the nostalgia with Stranger Things, and I think it messed up the movie. But yeah, so Wonder Woman, take it, leave it, whatever you want to do. It was all right. So before we get into the next two, let's take a quick break and talk or show off some of our friends around the web.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find The Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
So we actually need to update that a bit. If you want to get with the Hanging with Web Show, I think that website still works, but the main website is the HWWSwebtv.com. You can see the logo right over here. I am part of the HWWS Web TV network. There's Facebook and YouTube. Follow them on all the social media. Catch up on all the shows like the Hanging with Web Show, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Reels and Heels, Nerd Culture, Willow's Pillow Talk, Film Freaks, and so much more. But shout out to Hanging with Web Show for all their help and supporting my show and much, much more. So yeah, back to chatting about different shows, different things that I have been watching, reviewing. Let me know, what you guys have been thinking. If you're catching this on the audio version a little bit later, shoot me a message or comment on the video, or let me know what you think. If I'm way off on what things, or you got a different view or a different idea of how they were supposed to go with stuff, let me know. So let's get into another movie. I got things are popping up already. Now, this one I was very excited to see. I have been waiting for this one to come out for a very long time, and that is the Croods 2. I don't know how many people have seen the original Croods. It must have been enough to generate a second film. I was actually late on the bandwagon for the Crudes. I think I bought it randomly for a Black Friday sale, and I absolutely loved it. I love the family. I love the dynamic. All the voice actors that popped in were fantastic. It's a great story, very cool family film, very cool family core value film. And I got a good chuckle from just about everybody. And I will say the first one, the time was split for everybody, and I think everybody got to be in the main stage a lot, and I think they did a great job with it. And it was a cartoon, but had some realism to it. Now, the Croods 2, I really did enjoy it. I really liked it. But one of my pet peeves with the Croods 2 was, and this is kind of a lot of movies. I don't know if it was, because I can't remember if Hotel Transylvania. I can't remember if it's DreamWorks or not. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But Hotel Transylvania, you had a really awesome first movie. And then the second and third, they lost something somewhere. And they went, there's a fine line between a cartoon or an animated movie that's like a film that's animated, and then there's a cartoon movie. And when you get into the second and third Hotel Transylvania, they get a lot more cartoony and goofy. And that's a bit where the Croods 2 went. Some of the scenes and some of the way that people were acting and things that were going down just got really cartoony and too like in your face to do it. Like they went more towards the kids, I think, and not that nice down the middle that the first film was. The first film had a great way of telling a story and telling a story about this family, but they had the little jokes here and there, and I really enjoyed that. With this one, there's kind of some parts here and there that I'm just going, what the hell? Why? Like, one of the parts is when they first find the camp or the home of the Bettermans. They basically find it, and they find all this food, and they start annihilating all the food. And they just get super cartoony and goofy. They get these goofy faces to them, and they're just eating like morons. I know, and I get it that they haven't eaten well in probably forever. It goes to this real cartoony side, and it throws me off from the movie. And there was quite a few parts here and there throughout the movie that did that for me. So, that was kind of my big pet peeve with it. I really love the Bettermans, though. I love the addition to them, the contrast between the two families. The dad still trying, part of the storyline is that the Eep and Guy are been talking about separating from the pack and creating their own pack. And so that's like a big story throughout the thing. And I like that a bit because it was still like keeping the family storyline from the first one, but it's just two going off on their own. And you get some fun interaction between the two sets of parents. So you get a lot of the the family things that go on now, but in the prehistoric area, and it's really fun, very cute. It was a gorgeous movie. Some of the spots, like some things are going down, and it's very just amazing digital work. And this might be actually my favorite Nicolas Cage role, because he does a fantastic job playing the dad, and he's a lot of fun. And the only other complaint I would have is that there is no like some of the side characters, like the grandmother, the brother, and the youngest sister. They don't get as much time into it. The grandmother gets a little bit more towards the end, but I think they got a little too many characters into it, and it kind of lost some here and there, and lost some people, and lost some focus on the family and stuff like that. But you can only fit so much into the time and story. But yeah, I hope there's a third. I really hope there's a third one. I don't know where they would go with it, but it's a very cool film. It's a good one to kind of just relax, shut your brain off, get a good chuckle at. If anybody else kind of feels the way I do with the too much cartoony stuff, let me know, because jumping between this one or first one and second one, they just added cartoony, and it reminds me of kind of the reason why I think Hotel Transylvania 2 and 3 went downhill, because they just went too goofy. But it to each their own, I guess, on that one. But I would definitely say watch it. If you love the first one, check it out and see what you think for yourself. Let's see. After that, we've got, so this is the one I'm sure quite a few people are watching right now. It is WandaVison. WandaVison is going on right now. We have, as of this recording, we have 3 episodes out, and there is tons of stuff to talk about. I have absolutely been loving this show. I have been loving all the Easter eggs, the hidden stuff. This show comes out once a week. You get 1 episode a week, except for the first week, of course. You got 2 right at the beginning. But as the show goes on, you've been getting 1 once a week. I actually miss this, and especially nowadays. And the reason I miss this is I love watching New Rockstar's YouTube channel. I love listening to Fat Man Beyond and a couple other podcasts here and there that break down these shows. And when you do the binge shows, they have to watch them all or watch a few, and then you kind of get all the binging. You don't get that time in between. Right now, between each episode of WandaVison, you get a week time frame for people to break down things, to find special hidden meanings of stuff, find different things that, whatever meanings. And there's a lot more discussion that can happen between episode 1 and 2 and 3. You get to really break down stuff, and you kind of, you get to let the episode sizzle in your head a bit. You can maybe watch it a couple of times. It's very fascinating to see everybody's different point of views. Even Brian Winslow just puts in the chat. He says Mephisto is definitely in this. That is one of the Eric Voss over at New Rockstars. He's been saying that Mephisto's been behind it all the time. He's kind of been pointing out some different villains here and there now that the show is actually coming out, and you're seeing episodes. But he's been saying that this is going to be the introduction to Marvel's version of the devil known as Mephisto. Week to week keeps it fresh, and people keep watching, says Brian Winslow. Yeah, I've been seeing some things here and there on social media, on Facebook, of like the numbers aren't doing well, the Rotten Tomatoes numbers are going down, and this. I think part of the problem is people are too used to anymore getting that that all at once entire binge watch show, like Cobra Kai that we talked a bit about at the beginning of the episode. Too many people are so used to, like, some people think it's a new thing for a show to come out week by week. I grew up as a 90s kid. It was week by week show. I mean, even like CW, there's still a lot of that now, but a lot of people are more used to and have grown accustomed to this all at once binge show. And I think it's ruined some stuff, and it's messing with how you watch stuff. Like and I'm guilty of it, I try to spread it out a little bit, but when I get into something, especially when the episodes are getting good, I binge them like crazy. And I actually don't remember a lot of stuff. Like, sometimes I got like Cobra Kai, I had to go through a few episodes or watch the recap at the beginning of season 3 to remember all the little things that go on. But now with WandaVision and these single episodes, it sticks and burns into your brain some more because you have a week to process it and go through stuff and comb through and kind of remember what went down. This has been very fascinating. And honestly, if they would go and drop it as a full binge show, it pissed me off because basically you're dropping a movie or a longer version of a movie. If you want that, put it in a freaking movie theater. A show, a series show, episodic show like this is episodic. You enjoy it once a week to get that build up, and they're doing something new. This is very exciting. They are going away from their normal, because Marvel does a little bit here and there on some of their movies, have a cookie cutter standard of making the movies. Or you can kind of call it as it's going on. Some movies we get a little more plot twists and little surprise things that we don't know about. But this is a whole new, this is mini series. This is a smaller thing that's supposed to build out this story, and you're supposed to get it. This is why Mandalorian has done so well. Star Wars is great, but the sequel series, not many people like, because they have to jam so much shit into a certain amount of time movie. But in The Mandalorian, you get to tell all these side stories, get into all these little details in these 45-minute episodes. And that's the same thing with WandaVision. You're getting little tastes and little takes and breakdowns. And they're telling it through this weird television stuff. It like, and they don't even like, I kind of thought of like how this show would start off. And they start you right into this 60s universe, 60s, 70s universe, or even earlier than that. You're watching this show, WandaVision, and it's them getting into the neighborhood and just getting married and blah, 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 blah. It's really fascinating because you don't even see Wanda like walking through some weird empty building and then there's a flash and then the thing. You start right off on it. So you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea how they got in there, how Vision's alive, how Wanda's, who all these people are. You're just getting little tidbits here and there. And it's really fascinating. And I've greatly enjoyed how they've incorporated old shows into this. I really loved, I want to say, I'm trying to think who pointed it out. I think it was somebody on Fat Man Beyond. They pointed out the laugh track in the show. Because if you really think about the jokes that are being said and the things that are going on in the show, it's not that funny. You don't really get a chuckle from it. You don't really laugh from it. It's kind of cute, but like the actual jokes and the writing as a script writer is not, it's not that funny. So somebody pointed out that the audience is more laughing at Vision and Wanda than with a joke. They're laughing at them because they're kind of the audience, or the laugh track is a bit of the antagonist and kind of pointing out of why this stuff's, certain things that are messed up, where things are not funny. And basically it's a little bit of a reset to go back into that comedy mode. Something weird kind of happens and then it's brushed off and laughed at and they go back into it. Oh, I didn't know that, Brian. Brian says that this show was filmed in front of a live audience for parts of it. And I think they really use this laugh track. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and go, yeah, the laugh track was, to point out bad things and terrible stuff and weirdness to it. But yeah, the episodes have been very interesting. It's been very cool to see how stuff's been plugged in, where people have come from. And I agree with Brian as well. Episode 3 was creepy as hell. It seems like more and more people are glitching. We've had a few people glitch here and there, but it seems like more and more glitching here and there, and things are starting to go awry. And Wanda has some bit of control, but not 100% control of this little universe of hers. And I keep hoping that this is the setup of the breaking of the multiverse, or this verse that they're in. I really hope by the end of this season, or end of this show, that the multiverse gets destroyed and broken, and now the other shows and films are going to be the other people of the MCU trying to put it together and fix stuff. And you're going to get people, at least in the movies forms, there even some of the movie forms are getting into, it looks like Spider-Man 3 is going to be some type of multiverse thing, or you're getting people from the old Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So those things are popping in. And then you've got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So I really hope that the multiverse gets broken in this. I cannot wait to, because I think eventually we may get 1 or 2 more episodes in the sitcom form, and then I think all hell's gonna break loose. It may be actual hell, but even the creators said that, you know, they'll be into this show, this comedy shows for a little bit, and then it goes into more of like the big normal Marvel cinematic stuff. I'm very excited. I hope we see something. I hope everybody's waiting for that moment, because if you are a comic book fan, there is the House of M comic series, and the big thing that Wanda does is she basically wipes most of the mutants out of existence with the words "No more mutants." And a lot of people are feeling that we're getting closer and closer for her to say a sentence like that that'll either break up the multiverse, bring in the mutants, or just wreck something completely. You almost had a little bit at the end of episode 2 where she just says no and it rewinds. So they're teasing that a little bit. There's a lot of stuff in there. It'll be, okay. So yeah, they may have 3 more episodes, because I know there's a Brian Winslow says that the last sitcom they spoof is the Modern Family. I also know that they do one kind of like Full House and Roseanne. So it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. I've been watching every breakdown of New Rock Stars, Fat Man Beyond. I'm watching every little breakdown, every little Easter egg, because I am very wrapped into this. Now, I will say, I actually just talked to my boss today. My boss he watches the movies here and there. He has not seen many of them. So he actually came up to me today. He goes, "Hey, you've been watching WandaVision?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Are you liking it?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm confused." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "I don't get it. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, have you watched all the movies? He goes, "No." I go, "Did you watch like Avengers 2, or Infinity War and Endgame and this and that?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, you're going to be completely lost." So I think if you're a person that has barely been into the Marvel or never watched the Marvel movies and you try to watch WandaVision, yeah, you're going to give it a poor rating. You're not going to get it. You're not going to understand it. This is for, I really think, the hardcore fans that have been watching for over the past 10 plus years and have been dedicated to these Marvel movies, that have watched everyone, watched all the Easter eggs, watched the hidden cuts of things. I think this is more generated to them. Marvel knows they already have a fucking generation of people hooked or more into these movies. They're not really concerned at the moment, especially I think with these Disney Plus shows, of bringing new people in. You may snag a few because they may find it interesting, But these Marvel fans, I'm watching it because we have all these guesses. We're waiting to see how this breaks into all the other stuff. This is the first show that directly ties into the movies. It's not like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that's barely a part of it, or Netflix that mentions some shit here and there with their Daredevil, and which are all great series, except Iron Fist. But it's really out of canon, and neither of them are fully into canon. So I am very excited to see where these Disney Plus shows are going to take the Marvel series, and I cannot wait to see how they influence the movies. So yeah, I'm very excited. I will do, maybe in a few episodes, I'll do another little review at the end of an episode or something, or maybe I'll have somebody on that can help review. I do want to do a breakdown of WandaVision when it's all said and done. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. I don't know when this show actually ends, but I will get that in the schedule as well. All right, I actually got about 10 minutes left, so I want to talk about this one. So to build this up a little bit, I just recently got HBO Max, subscribed to it to watch Wonder Woman. And I was, when I'm sitting in here, I'm actually sitting at the desk. This is the podcast desk, and also have become the painting desk. So Sunday, I was sitting here painting a new painting for a commission. And I wanted something on. I love watching some stuff, and especially stuff that I haven't seen in a very long time, or even stuff that I've watched before, but I can kind of listen, don't have to pay attention fully. So I went on HBO Max to see what all they had offered. I went into their movie list, and I found this movie. I cannot believe I haven't seen this movie in about 20 plus years. And for those that are watching on only audio or listening through audio, the movie is Dick Tracy. I don't know why I wanted to watch it. It was one of those ones like, man, it's popped up a few times. I don't own it. I've seen some stuff here and there on it. It's kind of one of those ones that's like, oh, I got to watch that again. Oh, I got to watch that again. I'm like, all right, let's toss this on and see what it, see it. Now this movie came out, for those that don't know, if anybody's listening or watching that is younger than I am, this movie came out in 1990. I was born in 1987. I don't know if I watched it at 3. I actually remember decent parts of this movie, not much of it. So maybe I was like 4 or 5 when I watched it. But so the first 15 minutes of this movie, at least 7 people are murdered. Now, the reason I find that funny is because I watched this, and like the very early scenes of this is there's some mobsters, very weird mobsters. Everybody's fucking weird in this movie because they made it comic accurate. This is based off a comic book series or comic strip series of Dick Tracy, same name. And Dick Tracy is this like great detective that wears a yellow jacket, yellow hat, and he's supposed to be an amazing detective in this town. And then like he's fighting the mob, and it's different mob people, and they're all kind of weird looking, and they've got, it's like it takes the mob jokes of like, Little Jimmy or Skin Tiny Face or like weird names, and they actually make them look like that. So like Tiny Face has a giant head and a tiny little face. If you've never watched this movie, go watch it. It's hilarious, especially like, what are we, 30 some years later or more? How old is this freaking movie? But especially watching it in 2021, it's fantastic. So the movie kicks off. There's a bunch of gangsters playing cards in a warehouse thing, and they're playing, and a car plows through a big door. 2 guys come out of the car and just start gunning down all these gangsters. So like 5 of these gangsters are just murdered right off the top. Now there's no blood. It's not gory. They just get shot. They fall down. But they're killing 5 people right at the beginning. Then a little bit later, there's another warehouse scene, and they've got a bunch of the bad guys are in there. Oh, this is a Disney movie. Okay. Good for Disney. Interesting. I'm surprised it's not on Disney Plus then, unless they don't want to show it and they let HBO Max have it. I'd have to look into that. But you go a little bit farther in the movie, and there's another warehouse scene, and part of the scene is they're taking Robert De Niro's. Is it Robert De Niro? No. Who's the bad guy? Guy that played Scarface. I'm getting my names mixed up. Whoever played Scarface. Brian will tell me. But he's trying to take over the mob and make it one giant mob. So he kills the former big mob boss. And he kills him by putting him in a box and pouring cement on him. You actually see them. He's being covered in cement. And you're watching him basically drowned in cement. Al Pacino, thank you. Names are hard. So Al Pacino's character is letting this other guy get just concrete poured on top of him. And you're watching him, and then they go and drop him in a hole. While that's happening, a cop followed them, and you see it's just a silhouette. So I'll give it to them. It's a silhouette of the cop, but you see a gun go right behind the cop's head, and bang, and the cop falls down. This happens in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And the reason I point this out is this fucking movie was PG, not PG-13, PG. Now, as a young, when I was younger and being raised by my mom, I was allowed to watch whatever I wanted. I watched The Godfather, which I kind of view Dick Tracy as the kid's version of Godfather. But I watched all the Godfathers. I watched Commando. I watched every gory, bloody movie with all the swearing, all the cussing. I was never censored. My younger brothers, one's 7 years younger, and then one's like 10 or 13 younger than me, they were censored for a good point of it, which I always found funny because my dad would go, well, you can't watch this. And I go, well, I already watched it at the other house. But anyways, but I'm trying to imagine in the year of 2021 of this movie coming out as PG. This movie may come out as PG-13 or R. For the amount of people that are killed. I mean, the ending scene is a bunch of cops standing out of a nightclub with Tommy guns, which I fucking love Tommy guns. I miss Tommy guns. They were amazing. Josh, we need to do a Commando retrospective. I would be down for that. I have to watch it again, though. It's been years since I've seen Commando, but I would be down for that. But so they're all these cops, like 100 cops, are standing in front of the nightclub, and then the bad guys, their genius idea is to run out or drive out of the garage one at a time to just get mowed down with fucking Tommy guns. And I'm like, again, this is PG. Now I'm not saying I am not shitting on this at all. I am laughing at the fact that where we have gone in, let's see, 20 years, 30 years. I don't know the math. I'm terrible at math. But in this span of time from 1990 to 2021, I can't even imagine how many Karen's heads would explode at Dick Tracy being PG. I just see these damn Karen moms taking their little Timmies to freaking see Dick Tracy. In the first 5 minutes of the film, 5 gangsters are mowed down with Tommy guns. Oh my God. You would feel a shift in the fucking force from here. Like, oh man, I don't know. I miss the 90s. I really do. I miss, and this also shows. So I won't dive too much more into this, but I am doing, I have a lineup of guests, and on February 23rd, I believe it's like the second or last Tuesday in February. I think it's the last Tuesday in February. I have gotten a group of guys, and we are going to chat about the shit we watched in the 90s and some of the stuff that influenced us through the 90s. I got people right around my same age that was born in the late 80s and grew up in the 90s. Because my wife and I were talking about this. You've got Dick Tracy, that was PG. You have things like Batman. You got Batman Returns. You got Tales from the Crypt. You had the show. You had the cartoon, you had the game show, all pointed towards my age kid as a kid. These nobody cared what we watched. Like, today Timmy can't watch anything with, if somebody says poop, somebody freaks out, or, sensitive ears, or social, little safe spaces and bullshit like that. But man, nobody gave a fuck about what we watched in the 90s. And I know I'm a millennial, and I'm a different section of millennial. I think the millennials are split in half, and there's another group, or it's the Gen Z, which is the generation after millennials. A lot of stuff gets blamed on us, but we work our asses off. I know quite a few people of my age that we bust our ass and just have gotten fucked over from a variety of different ways. And if you call it whining and bitching, go fuck yourself. I don't care. And this is my show, so I don't care. But yeah, like, nobody cared what we did. As long as my generation was quiet in the 90s and we didn't bug the adults, you're fine. You could watch whatever you want, do whatever you want, play any video games you want. As long as you were quiet and sat in your corner and did not bug the adult figures, you were good. So that will be a upcoming episode. Stay tuned for that. I cannot wait to chat about that. Jaws was rated PG? No. Brian Winslow puts in the chat that Jaws was rated PG. Oh my God. I will have to look that up later. I will be looking into that. So, but yeah, stay tuned for that episode. I have awesome guests that are coming on the next few weeks. I've got Jeff Bailk. I ruin his name all the time, but he's a color artist for comic books and he has his own line of cartoon comics. He's very cool. I've got a group chat with Remy from Remy's Roundtable and Joey Mazant, who have both been on the show recently. We're going to have a little group chat of something. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be just chaos and fuckery as always. And I've got the big 90s kids group chat. So lots of stuff is coming up in the next few weeks, and please tune into that. Please do me a favor. If you like the artwork behind me, if you are looking for some paintings, some prints, any of that, head over to jbauerart.com if you need graphic design work. If you would like to, don't worry, Terry, you could tune into the other podcast I'm going to be on at 8. If you would like to sponsor the show, sponsor me, have my artwork up in your local business, just go on to there, jbauerart.com. You can see everything. You can click on everything. You can find all the social media stuff, support the show, and support me. Limited edition prints. The next one is coming up very soon, and I'll give you a hint on which one it's going to be. If you are a Powerpuff Girls fan, the next limited edition print is going to be the Powerpuff Girls print, painting print. You guys are the first to know that. You will be able to order them. I think I'm going to do about a week and a half before Valentine's Day. The reason they're coming out, the Powerpuff Girls print is coming out in February, is that is the month that they debuted many years ago. So I thought I'm kind of lining everything up of the month anniversary of it. So February is Powerpuff Girls. And just to let you know, and you guys are the first to know it as well, if you buy a Powerpuff Girls print, one of the limited edition prints that are only 20 available, you will be put into a drawing automatically put into a drawing for one of the previous prints, which is the Mandalorian print. So if you missed out, didn't get to buy one, missed your chance, you could buy the Powerpuff Girls print and you may win the Mandalorian print. All you have to do is buy that print and you automatically are entered. And then once the sale's done, I will draw somebody out of the list of names that bought prints. So please keep an eye out on that. I am going to do that every month. As long as they don't sell out, I'm going to make sure they hopefully sell out. But if they do not sell out, the number 20 print of every run will be up for grabs in the next run as a giveaway. So if you do not know what the limited edition prints are, you haven't seen what's going on, please head over to jbauerart.com and check all that out. I've updated the website so you can find all that stuff super easy and get your things going. And then please like, subscribe, follow the show, share with friends. If you're listening to this, I'm trying to build the opposite or trying to build the opposite, trying to build an audience to build the show up. I've got everything else looking good. I got everything looking great. Audio is good. This is great. That's great. I need an audience now. So please, if you dug this show, dug any of the episodes, send it to a friend. Tell somebody to subscribe and help me build this show. I can only build it with the help of you guys. Oh, excuse me. So with that being said, make sure to this episode and this podcast is also powered by NSC Live TV, the comic book network created by geeks for geeks. Head over to nsclive.com, nsclivetv.com. You can find all kinds of channels for podcasts like myself, artists, creators. There's just this list. You can find everybody's show. Everybody that pretty much does a show that I know of is on this list. You can find new podcasts to listen to, support local creative people, support comic shops. You can support comic shops across the country with NSC Live TV. So a big shout out to NSC Live TV, Inked Marketing, Inked Marketing for supporting and advertising with Back Talk with Bauer. Other than that, I will catch you guys next week. Later.